Hi everypony! This week's episode was Bats, and I really enjoyed it. This is the first real interaction between Fluttershy and Applejack, and it was completely different than I expected after some pony told me about these two being the focus. The two were handled absolutely amazingly this episode, with both them being handled differently than a lot of writers choose to. Applejack actually remembered the lessons she's learned in the past from asking for help to taking the time to find a better solution. It's still the kind of solution she was looking for, but it was better than outright killing all of them. Fluttershy had a far more active role this time and made a very good attempt to get the others on her side. Unfortunately for her, AJ is not only a better speaker, but from the view of the rest of the main six, it makes sense for them to side with Applejack. Rainbow Dash and Twilight both have a tendency to think about themselves and other ponies instead of nature and animals. If Twilight had argued for a more peaceful solution, it would have seemed wrong, seeing as her new position is meant to serve ponies, not fruit bats. Rarity isn't a fan of nature to begin with, and the bats make everything look like a haunted house, so that's a no-brainer. Pinkie is obviously going to either go to the majority or take a side role, and she really didn't do that much this episode besides looking for diamonds. The song was amazing and was a great portrayal of how two people will try to sway a mob and get people to their side. Both presented enough facts to make it sound reasonable, but didn't spend the time to explain past that. Fluttershy was wounded here because no matter how many times I watch the episode do I understand exactly how the vampire fruit bats help the farm. If she had explained this, then maybe AJ would have been more willing to listen, but when you put imminent destruction versus a new untested way to help the farm, I think we all know which one is going to win. Past this, Twilight turns extremely helpful, mysterious, and just a little dire. It's not wrong for her character, it's just these moments felt really odd and out of place compared to how every pony, especially Artie and Pinkie, were acting. I really appreciate how smart Merryweather was with writing Rainbow this episode. In the past, the more angry and dark she became, the more she villainized herself, such as in the Crystal Empire. By having her distracted by the possibility of no more ciders, she took on a funner role and helped it not feel like every pony was ganging up on Fluttershy. Now for those of you familiar with my channel, you might have noticed that I have a tendency to skip over the more actiony parts of the episodes. The gathering of the bats and the supreme reign of Best Vampire Flutterbat fit into that category. As much as I loved seeing Alucard get kicked off his throne, there's not as much for me to say here. Okay, I am talking such complete bucking bull here. This is one of the things Season 4 is excelling at, using the characters how they have been established rather than teach a lesson. This makes it easier for their characters to shine through in action-packed episodes. By having Applejack's own loyalty come through along with her competitive nature, we get to see her become far calmer and sadder about the situation she's in. The reason why the sanctuary gets put up in the end is because she is forced to recognize when the bats is something she can't just kill and be rid of. She learned her lesson using things that are firmly established parts of her character, that she needs to slow down and look at things from more than one perspective, aka what works best for both short-term and long-term for more than one side. The original solution of making them unable to eat the apples was an attempt at letting both sides leave and continue existing. It was just a very short-term and very flawed solution. By looking at the bats as more than just pests, she took the next step to viewing them as more than just something to be destroyed and could start considering how to handle it the way Fluttershy thinks. The flaw with Fluttershy's argument was, after all, trying to get every single member of the main six to look at the bats on equal with AJ. Rainbow sympathizes with AJ about losing the chance to win the Harvest competition, a great showing of how both have fierce competitive sides. I absolutely love seeing Twilight fail with one of her spells, since it seems like she is getting more and more comfortable with extremely powerful magic. Magic that usually can have some kind of side effect. As for the explanation, well, these simpler explanations have always worked for MLP, and this is not an exception. Fleurs was fulfilling half the requirements for the spell, while longing to keep them from what makes them vampire bats. Intent is something all people need, especially when doing something as permanent as killing someone or taking away their freedom. And Fleur's intent was the complete opposite of what was needed for the spell. There are a few major flaws to the writing of this episode, but it would add a lot of time to this review if I put them in here, and they can be explained fairly easily, so I'll be explaining them on my Tumblr instead. Look for the link down in the description and feel free to leave me a question while you're there. Time for some fanboying. Why is Spike doing the writing for the girl's personal journal? I really liked seeing the pony signals, and I swear, Rainbow Dash's must have been a sonic rainbow because there is no way she was carrying a flashlight on her. Pinkie's hair has never been so useful. Why can't we see more of these vampire fruit bats? If they weren't careful, that tree must have died when they removed the gold ribbon apple. This has been Linespace saying, I can't end it like this. I like doing my reviews in a manner that if some pony came along post Season 4, they can enjoy it rather than a weekly examination of an ongoing season. However, both I and a lot of my analyst friends have noticed oddities with what the protection team seems to be doing with this season. So here's a question. Would you guys like me to stick to headcanons and episode reviews like I normally do? Or would you like me to do one or two videos analyzing what direction this season is going story and character-wise?